Hello and welcome back to Open Everyone. You know, we're always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Online, tweet us at BronxNet TV and tweet me at Rhina Valentine. All right, so our next guest is a bilingual acting and diction coach who began her own workshops called Rosie Rules, sharing some guidelines, effective tools to strengthen acting techniques and enhance clear diction for Latinos and professionals. So joining us now to share more about the workshops, please welcome owner and founder of Rosie Rules, Rose Berrido.
Thank you. Good morning.
Berrido.
Yes.
With the doble R.
Want to start warming up and roll the R's.
Yeah. So do you do
Yeah.
it both ways? Do you also teach the Spanish?
Of course I do.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I'm here. I'm available to the bilingual actor or business professional. So if you want to achieve clear diction in English, you can come to me. If you want to help reduce or polish your accent a little in Spanish, you can come to me. So I do it in both languages.
Do you also train in dialect, right? Because within the Latino community, there are so many different dialects. And I mean, to non-Latinos, we all speak Spanish, but there's a different Spanish that's even spoken on television.
Yes, we're trying to do that now. We have a huge influx of Cuban Americans, Colombian Americans, Dominican Americans. So sometimes it's important just to neutralize the Spanish, where you're in the middle. You really want to be in a place where people don't really know where you are, who you are, where you're from, but have that to be intelligible and clear diction. So what they're calling now generic Spanish, but I like to call it just neutral, so that it's not regional specific.
Right,
Yeah.
and it doesn't discredit the Spanish as a
Exactly.
language.
Absolutely.
Right? It's generic. I'm like, oh,
Absolutely,
generic. But you know, just in speaking about dialects, and I just want to use myself as an example, right?
Okay.
In the way I speak, I've lived in different parts of the United States, and obviously, you know, I come from a Latino household, right? So I'm urban Latina, New Yorican, as a lot of people like to refer to us as. But I lived in California for very many years, so I was able to adopt that kind of twang. And so there's this combination of dialects that are going on within my speaking. And so I'm just curious, can you hear the Spanish in the way I speak English?
Sometimes I can, a little bit. I have a very fine ear, so I can hear it. And I hear and sometimes the urban sounds, little, you know, the syntax and a little bit of the cadence. So I can hear it a tiny bit.
So in your field, when working, let's say if you were working with someone like myself, what would you target?
It depends on what your needs are.
Right.
For someone like you, it would probably be a little bit the cadence,
Okay.
a little bit sometimes the toned endings, which we have a tendency to neglect here in the big city, especially in New York, because we talk so fast.
Right.
So that's very important, the toned endings. And I'd have to listen to you more. I'd have to maybe hear you reading.
Right.
And see maybe where you are with S's and Z's and things like that. Sometimes the T and the D are quite delicate. There's just a slight difference between the toni in Spanish or the toni. It's just a little bit of the tongue pulling it up and back. Very, very slight.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, your focus is on articulation, not only in English but in Spanish as well, while also I guess refining Latinos or American Latinos or just Latinos who are trying to refine their English in removing the accent without losing who they are.
Absolutely. And the idea is I don't advocate for losing the accent. I don't know that you can. In fact, I think it's very sexy if you have an accent. So we don't really want to lose it 100%, but we want it to be intelligible. We want it to be that if you're performing on stage and you have an accented, let's say, expression, and the non-accented ear hears it and is not quite used to it, then they can spend the next few seconds trying to catch up.
Right, because then it becomes a job for the audience,
Exactly.
right? Especially if the acoustics are not working in your favor.
Yeah, and we don't want to cater, but we don't want to insult their intelligence, and we want them to work hard, and we don't want to get rid of the accent, but we want it to be in a place where the actor can compete and is not neglected or, you know, passed over because he has an accent or because he or she sounds Hispanic.
Right, or it's too thick, let's say,
Exactly.
right? Because the beauty of it would be to be able to kind of turn it on and off at your convenience, at your command, right? Which I'm assuming is another skill you have, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you work with John Leguizamo?
I did, yes. I translated and adapted Ghetto Clown, his fifth Broadway show, and we went all the way to Colombia, because he decided he wanted to do it in Spanish. And I found that the Spanish was already in his DNA, because he comes from, Hispanic parents, half Colombian, half Puerto Rican. And he didn't practice it for a really long time. And in 7 or 8 months, he was right where he needed to be. We performed it in Spanish. He performed it in Spanish. We went all the way to Colombia. So it's possible.
I love that you took ownership over it. You're like, we performed it. He was on stage, but we performed it.
Hey, I suffer too, yeah. Yeah, and it was really interesting because there were a lot of things that he would immediately catch right away, and I kept reminding him, it's inside you. It's in your DNA, it's kind of that ancestral memory that if we become, more open and centered, it's available to us as Latinos.
It's important. I'm really happy to even grasp everything you're saying, because even myself, as I am semi-bilingual. I don't like to consider myself fully bilingual because I can communicate in Spanish. I can read, I can write, but I don't feel confident.
Okay.
And so I'm just sharing this with our viewers in case, depending on where they are in levels of possibly wanting to coach, seek your coaching and train with you, because you also do it for professionals in just occupational interviews and things of that nature, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And the rules, I have 100 rules, and these 100 rules have been divided into 4 categories. The first category speaks to the craft of acting specifically. The second category speaks to communications. The third speaks to ethics. And the fourth speaks to spirituality. And the reason why I have those 4, divisions, let's say, is because my approach, I came to understand that the approach needs to be holistic. If you are a well-rounded human being, if you've taken care of all these areas, take care of your body, your mind, your spirit, then you can remove all those obstacles. And that's where you gain the confidence. So it's important to meditate. It's important to have a proper diet. It's important to, be pulcher, and be presentable, because that sometimes can also be an obstacle.
Right.
When people don't take care of themselves, or a little bit of the depression, or those, all these challenges in careers, especially as an actor, where there's so much rejection, gets to a point where you almost want to neglect yourself.
Right.
And so that gets in the way. So that's part of the coaching, where my approach is also reminding you and guiding you to take care of yourself. To take care of your body, mind, spirit.
I feel like I just got coached a little bit. I'm like, give me more.
You.
No, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. So before we go, we need to share with everyone this workshop that you're offering, and also the importance of that. I guess that you've taken on the responsibility of making sure that it's available and accessible to our community.
Absolutely, yeah, I think so. I did a little research, and I discovered that of the 5.4 million Latinos in the tri-state area, there were very, very few bilingual coaches, and no one was really doing it on a regular basis in English and Spanish. And I thought, okay, people need to know. And I've done so much in a 25-year career, in theater, in voice, in audiobooks, that let's bring it to the table, coming to the service portion of my life. So this workshop is specifically Introduction to Rosie's Rules, so that in 2.5 hours, people can get an idea of what I can do for your diction, for your acting technique, for your, give you advice on meditation and help you to center yourself. So we're going to talk about the rules. I'll give you tools, some practical exercises that you can learn. And so the workshop is an introduction so that people know that I'm here. I'm offering it in two languages, English and Spanish.
Nice.
So if you have an intermediate knowledge of English or Spanish, you can come to the workshop. It's going to be offered at Punto Space, a lovely space founded by 2 women, 2 Latinas, Sandy Luna, Deborah Ballardini, and they're doing such a great job, and they've welcomed, the workshop. So yeah, looking forward to it. Wow. Saturday, April 22nd at Punto Space.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, no, thank you. And thank you for sharing it with our viewers here.
You.
I hope they take advantage of it.
Yes.
I know I want to.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
and I look forward to seeing where it goes, because if you're just doing the beginners, obviously this is going to develop into something more, and you're going to have different levels. So congratulations.
Yes. Thank you very much.
And congratulations on choosing to give it to us.
Good. Gracias.
Yes,
Gracias.
yes, yes.
Gracias.
Once again, you guys, be sure to sign up for Rosie Rules. That's taking place on Saturday, April 22nd from 12 noon to 3 p.m. at Punto Space, located on 325 West 38th Street in Manhattan. And for more information, you can visit rosierules.com. We're taking a quick break, but we'll be back with more Open when we return.